Welcome to Short Scale Modelling. This is part 4 of Atlantis. This gas truck scale is 1 to 48. In part 3 I made up the cab, so in part 4 I'm going to be making up the tanker part of the build. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. So before I start the gas tanker part, there's a couple of little bits and pieces I have to do for the cab area. So here I'm using Revit Aquila 09 anthracite first of all, and then I'll be swapping into Revit Aquila 08 matte black. And what I'm painting here is one of the control arms that goes on the back, just at the back of the cab. Next is the fifth wheel, and that's 09 anthracite Revit Aquila. Now the fifth wheel is the bracket that the tanker gets coupled to the actual main cab unit. I'm pretty damn sure it is called the fifth wheel, but I may be wrong. And then it's Revit Aquila 90 silver for the bar part of the controller. I'm then switching over to Tamiya's X32 titanium silver, and this is for the great part of the radiator. Now I've already painted the border over the framework, and I painted that in black. The fan itself is 90 silver, Revit colour. You don't really get to see the fan, but I just painted it in anyway. So now it's onto the tanker, and the tanker itself is just two halves put together. There is a series of little location points for you to follow on it. I did put it under a couple of clamps. Wasn't really necessary. I could have held it for a few minutes and it would have been fine, but I wanted to move on with the build, hence why I put some F clamps on. I'm using Revit Aquila 06 tab black, and this is for all the air lines, or the air pipes that go underneath the tanker. For the drive shafts, it's a mixture of 09 anthracite and the next colour is 99 aluminium. Now, these colours, I wasn't 100% sure on what to paint them in, but I just put them all metal, or the connection parts, put a bit of black into them. I wasn't 100% sure. So in the end, I done a mixture of these two colours. And at the end of the day, you don't really get to see it anyway, because it's right underneath the tanker. But just bear in mind, I may have got the colours wrong for this. The pump connectors is 09 anthracite Revit colour. Now this gets fitted inside the trailer bottom of a compartment. I will also be highlighting this unit with 99 aluminium also. Then it's 08 matte black Revit colour, and this is going to be the colour like the cab unit for all the framework. And then it's back to Revit Aquila 09 anthracite, and this is for the axles, the two rear axles. Then it's back to 08 matte black, and this is the framework part of the stabilisation bar that goes at the front of the tanker. Those are the little bar that gets ratcheted up and down depending if the cab unit is connected to it. And then going back to the base colour 61 emerald green, and this is the inside compartment where all the pump works are situated. These are the little things I was painting earlier on. On the outside of this, the maker stamps there, so I'm just filing that off before I paint it. And the outside part of this compartment is 08 matte black Revit colour. And going back to the pump mechanisms, and I'm using Revit Aquila 91 steel just to highlight areas. And before I attach anything, I'm just giving the base a paint, and I'm using Revit Aquila 08 matte black for this. And while everything is drying, I'm just going back to the cab unit to fit these little parts. So the fifth wheel is going on first, and as you can see, that is going in between the rear axle. Next is one of the lever mechanisms going in. There is a location points there to hold these little parts. And once they're in, I can fit the radiator. Now obviously this sits in front of the engine. There is a little groove cut out inside the frame for it to just slide in. Now I did paint the underside of the car with the River Colour 08 matte black. Now to place the cab on, there's two little location points just at the edge inside the cab that the pins sit in, and this just allows the cab to be brought up or placed back down. Next I'm fitting the pumping mechanisms onto the air lines. A separate canister that I almost missed goes in its own little compartment. I painted this black, but I didn't paint it on camera. So I can now put in the airlines. These have really defined location points, so there's no chance of getting mixed up how it should go. Then I can put on the compartment that holds the pumping mechanisms. Now this is a lot of spaces at the back for it to fit through, and it fitted perfectly. So I'm just checking it for fit to make sure it's alright. You can see it coming through there. I quite like this. Now this compartment does come with doors, but I've decided not to put them on, so I haven't shown it yet. So next to go on is the axles and suspension. So first of all, the suspension goes on, then the drivetrains get placed in between that. Next to be fitted is the spare tyre. Now I'm going back to Tamiya's X32 titanium silver, and these are just for the little wheels on the stabilising bar. And once I painted them, it was just a simple case of fitting them into place. Each these units does have a little location point, and in some cases a little track just to hold them into place. So now the drivetrains and everything on, it's the supporting bars or axles, I should say, to go on. And it's a straight fit just over the drivetrain units. They all fit quite nicely. I'm not going to be putting the wheels on just yet. I'm going to put them on after I've painted everything, just so there's no chance of them snapping off. So it's onto the painting, and as with the cab, I'm using Rebel Aquacolor 61 Emerald Green, using the light touch method and barely putting any paint on whatsoever. You can see it sort of goes on in a wispy effect sort of way at this stage. And remember, I'm only putting one coat on. I'm not going to be building up this colour at all. I'm not worried if it becomes uneven or a bit patchy. This is all going to add to the weathering process of the model. And now it's dry, it's time to put on the decals. So I'm putting on the side nameplates first of all, and then of course the main company name. Now these decals did lie a little bit heavy on the model. I haven't used any solution for this, just water. That's maybe why they're laid a bit heavy. But I'm only using water because I'm going to be messing up these decals a little bit. And just putting the two on the cab, well, there's three, one on each side, and then a little nameplate at the front of the cab. And this is where I'll leave part 4. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other builds? Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Don't forget to leave a comment, and of course, like the video. You can also share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.